What's in my garden? So this is the fifth in a series on irises, and today we're going to talk about Siberian iris. This is a clump I have on the side of my house by the chimney. So it gets late afternoon sun and a lot of heat off of the brick, and I kind of put it here to help hold down. This is a sloped area to hold in the soil, because these type of irises like to grow in dense clumps. And you see this is probably, oh gosh, 4 or 5 feet long and about 2 to 3 feet deep out from the house. They're happily blooming. We're into mid-May, and the irises, these Siberian irises tend to be in shades of blue. I think there are some varieties you can get that, hit the shades of white and yellow and pink and on into your purple tones. They're not as showy as the German iris. The blooms are a little bit more delicate, and they don't have the bearding that the German iris have usually in that area. So they're still very pretty. They're the foliage is much more grass-like and maybe only about a 1/4 inch wide. We're still hitting probably 24 to 30 inches tall, and the blooms pop up above that sometimes as much as 36 inches or so. They make a really nice backdrop against this brick wall. They will tolerate part sun. They don't mind full sun. They don't have to be divided as often when they grow in these clumps because they tend to like it. If you do get to a point where you're not getting a lot of blooms, you can go ahead and divide it. The rhizomes, this is also another rhizomatous iris. The rhizomes are smaller. They're not as big and thick as the German iris. But because they grow so densely, it can be quite a feat to get in there with your shovel and dig them out. I remember digging up a clump at my neighbor's house, and it was a lot. So they're pretty carefree. Typically don't have any problem with insects or anything. Again, because it's the iris family, deer leave it alone. And you see I've got a happy bird in the background. And this color really looks good up against peonies. You get those pops of pink and red and white with it. Shows up really well. And these will bloom for, I guess, probably about a week or so. There's usually 1 to 2 to 3 buds per stalk. And you can go ahead and it's easier to divide them before the foliage is up all the way, just because you don't have all that in the way. But you can dig them up as a clump and transplant them pretty well most of the summer. Try not to do it too late in the summer because you want to give it time to get the roots to establish. So the breeders have played some with these irises, and we're starting to see the blooms where the falls are more ruffly and maybe a little bit wider than you see on this particular kind. So they're starting to play with them and to get some little different looks out of them. So it's a really nice little iris.